pick something every.
Yes, I think that's the
One
goal.
thing, let's just start here.
That
Let's
meeting, do it.
paint the alleyway. Let's just, this one time, we're gonna do this one thing.
I think you come up with my ideas, then pull it and walk away with what's gonna be done between this meeting and next, and who's responsible.
I have a
Period.
question too. Clark had asked for $5,000 to start repairing this meeting because we have got no time to waste. And we just wanted to be temporary, kind of keeper of the guard, just let's get this rolling. Where are we at?
Well, I think you come up with those list of promotions, and I don't know that it would necessarily be a requirement or be necessary for the money to essentially be block granted to y'all, because I don't know exactly who we would send it to, because I don't even know if the.
Can I explain that?
Yeah, please.
Sure.
I don't know, the Newberry Downtown Merchants Association, I mean, it was incorporated, it had its tax exemption, but I don't know if any of that's been maintained. So I guess my take on it was, what if we came up with the list of things we're gonna do, and we just expended them as part of the city's promotions budget? I mean, it has the same impact, but, you know, and you handle it that way. So I don't know that it's necessarily writing a $5,000 check. I think it's just identifying what, in addition to what we're currently doing, we wanna do, and then go from
We
there.
raised a lot of. Go ahead, Clark.
But that was, I mean, I want everybody to understand why I asked for that, is because I've gone up and down Main Street, talked to people and tried to reestablish some things. And, you know, how do you reestablish something and come up with ideas if there's no money in it? So it was a head start approach, in my opinion. And if the city wants to set aside that and give us a head start for us to come with ideas instead of two people getting together and saying, we're gonna do this billboard, this room needs to do stuff like that.
Sure.
And that was my reasoning for asking the money at city council. It was because then you can go out and you can say, hey, we're developing a merchants association again. We're going to do this again. And we got a little money to start with. And we can charge a modest fee, $25 a month or something, to keep things in the flow. Whereas if you got no money, what do? Have a meeting, collect a few dues. Nothing happens for months and months and months.
He said he's gonna pay for it, I'm in.
Well, I guess that's what I was getting at. How about so that we can move really quickly? And I'd like Matt to touch on. I started with the projects, and I was going to get into events, and then we were going to get into marketing. And I was going to allow Matt to kind of fill in the details on the events and the marketing. But on the marketing front, in addition to what we're currently doing, why don't we identify? I don't know that there's a magic number like $5,000, but let's identify the promotions that we want to do and have the city fund it. And I think as long as it's either a general nature or it's promoting like a segment downtown, maybe it's the restaurants, maybe it's specialty shops, I think we can use some of the city's resources to do that. I don't think we necessarily want to at least initially, single out one business and use public money for.
Oh, absolutely not.
Now, I tell you what we did in the past, it seemed to work pretty well, and I don't recall if it was Beth that was the president or Amy, but with the NDMA, I do remember us block granting some money, and that money was used for business promotions. And there was a business of the month that we did, and you know, that seemed to go over pretty well for a while it lasted. And you know, I know we worked cooperatively on some you know, some brochures and things. So how about initially though, why don't we take the direct funding approach, sort out all this stuff with the Merchants Association, how it's going to be organized. Is it going to be NDMA and you're going to utilize their tax exemption and their incorporation, and then we can look at the kind of the block grant approach.
Again, I'm new here, and I don't have the history and everything, but my opinion, I think that these meetings we're having are super positive. I would like to see, make a motion, I guess, to reinstitute this downtown merchants. Let's get a formalization of who's willing to work together to bring all this to happen. There may be some organizations here that could give a crap and don't want to participate. That's fine. But let's get a list of those that are going to show up at the next month's meeting as we start to dole out activities that need to be performed. Then we can formalize that. I think then as a group we have much better options to determine what we want the city to do and ask the city, please do this marketing, why isn't this happening? We have more of a collective voice.
The city was very willing and worked great with the, when we had a Newberry Downtown Merchants Association, we all the time came up with, the few of us who went to the city, we had a direct dialogue with the city came to our meetings, they invited us to come downtown, we said we want to do this project, we want to do that project, the city put money in, but the problem was that no one came to the meetings. And unfortunately, that's the past, there's nothing we can do about it in the past, but it would be great if someone wants to decide to take it on in the future. Stephanie Bilger is the treasurer, there is money in an account, it's a nonprofit organization with a tax number, and it's waiting for someone to pick it up and take the reins. I think it'd be great.
I think we pick a date in January, the next meeting at City Hall, and let's kick that up. I mean, I think that, again, we'll succeed together or fail alone, and I think getting everybody, there seems to be more motivation now maybe than there was in the past, and get people on the same page and try to draw up those plans. I mean, an army of 50 people individually can't do crap. We start to do some training together, we start to deploy that as a team, I think we can do a lot, and ask the city to help us in areas that they can, and I think we could do a lot here, with especially the interest. The one thing I can't hire for ever in any of my companies or any of my employees is passion. What I see between these meetings is desire, passion, willingness. Now is the time to pull all of this together and to reinstitute that group, and let's meet once a month. I think take some of the lessons from the past, both positive and the negative, and move forward in continuing this dialogue with actionable items each month and nibbling away at that hill. You know, the journey is one step at a time, and I think if we can start to do that, I think this group can be highly successful, and Newberry can be great.
One thing we can do is everybody's in the room tonight, there's, for what a great turnout we have, a great one we had last time too, but there are also people who aren't here. So if everybody can look around the room, think of one person you know that's a downtown merchant who isn't here, and just let them know about the next meeting.
The biggest problem with the meetings too, and I commend Jeff on this, your two meeting strategy worked. And the biggest problem with the Downtown Merchants Association, not just in Newberry but anywhere, is okay, you have a 9 a.m. Wednesday morning meeting. Okay, I'm just making it up. Well, I'm like Sean. You know, I have a full-time job. Okay, so I can't ever be there then. Or you have a 7 p.m. Thursday night meeting, which, you know, I added extra staff tonight so I could be at this meeting. So it's hard to cater to everybody. It is hard to get this kind of turnout. We're all here because we all want this to work. That's why we're all here. There's a lot of people here, I'm sure, that attended the last meeting, but you know, I couldn't attend it because I was a pioneer slaving away. But that's what we got to do. So maybe if we go forward, we can't just announce a time. If we got somebody leading this thing and we have a couple of meetings and we recap and where we can maximize our attendance in these meetings, because I don't think we can say, okay, the second Thursday of January we got a meeting and get this kind of turnout again. I don't think we could. And I think that's what we got to do. We got to be able to touch everybody in business. It's hard for restaurant people to meet at night. It's hard for people that have other jobs to meet in the morning. How you gonna, you know? So you got to bring two different time zones here in, and it worked, Jeff. It worked this time.
How many people did you have, Jeff, during the morning? Do you have a 15?
I think you pick a time, you go back to the formalization of someone taking notes, and does everyone in here have everyone else's email?
No.
I'm guessing no. So does everyone know everyone else? Probably not. Does everyone have everyone else's hours? Probably not. Right. Well,
A brochure would be awesome.
They're free.
What?
A business brochure with all our emails in it and our
Okay,
hours.
for those that don't, print up the
This is
newsletter, we
genius.
deliver it. We mail it. I belong to the
Oh,
Punch
for
Club,
fun. I just
and
want to
although they email that out to everybody as a PDF, there's still, I think, about
people
40
that
that
throw
they
out
have
good
to print,
ideas.
and I
It's
get
nice to have it.
Jeff, there's
the
something I
demographics.
wanted to ask you as well. We did talk about police force, closing for around 2 years. That's now gonna fall on the rest of us until things change or don't change, whatever. What have you heard from Mr. Swindler about the police? I don't know how to say it nicely, creating customers. I need to know.